Welcome into College Football Breakdown, where we bring in KellyInVegas on, and she goes over three games that she likes. We'll also get some news and notes from Las Vegas. But Kelly, welcome in. How you doing today?
Doing good. I mean, it's been one of those lovely, busy days that I love so much just because of the holiday tomorrow. So trying to get everything done so I can enjoy some turkey, some football, and some basketball tomorrow.
Yeah, well put. It's rivalry weekend in college football. You got three sides that you're liking. We'll get right into it. Starting Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time, 153, 154, the rotation number. A big one here. Ohio State at Michigan. This one you can watch on Fox. Looks like Ohio State's laying 11.5 at Heritage, 12 at 5 dimes, 50.5 the total. How are you looking to bet it, Kelly?
We talked about this Michigan team last week with you guys, and it's really hard to back Harbaugh's boys after how terrible they played after losing Brandon Peters due to concussion protocol. As of the last I've heard, he may play, he may not play. So then I have to take into account John O'Corn under center. That all being pushed aside, the number is a little bit high, so you are paying a premium for the Buckeyes. But I can see why. They have absolutely owned the series. They've covered 7 of their last 10. And most importantly, we have this Ohio State team where there's an arrogance level that comes with them. They know that even though they have 2 losses, they can skip a team that maybe only has 1 loss. So here's Urban Meyer, and what we've seen since the Iowa game is he has kept his foot on the gas. He has tried to show that committee that they deserve a top spot if another team should falter. So I got to lay the lumber with the Ohio State Buckeyes here.
All right, laying the 11.5. You can find it at Heritage. You bring up John O'Corn. I'm down here in South Florida visiting family for Thanksgiving. He was the quarterback for St. Thomas here in Fort Lauderdale. So it's interesting because he's been in college so long. But Kelly, I'll tell you, he really hasn't translated, talent that he showed early on to later in his college career. I mean, you even brought it up yourself. You're not looking to back him because he's taken snaps.
It is unfortunate, but there are quarterbacks that do really well in high school and then their first couple years in college. And you get these defensive coordinators that once they figure out how to stop these kids, they're in a world of hurt. I mean, we've seen the same thing with Lamar Jackson, who is an exceptional quarterback and may have a good NFL career, but his freshman year translated into this year is just drastically different. Once you figure out how to stop these guys and how to kind of get in their head, you basically shut their entire game down. And I think that is what happened with John O'Corn.
Yeah, for sure. No, great breakdown, Kelly. And on to the 3:30 slate. We got a big one here. Arguably the biggest game, the Iron Bowl on CBS, 3:30 Eastern time. Alabama at Auburn, big one in Jordan Hare. Looks like Alabama's laying pretty much 4.5 across the board at SBR odds right now. 47.5 the total. How you looking to bet the Iron Bowl, Kelly?
Yeah, like you said, this is probably the biggest game this weekend. And everybody knows I'm traditionally a dog better. I did miss the 7 on this game, but I'm not sure if I would have taken it anyway. I'm sorry, Drew, but this Tide team is just so good. And more importantly, their defense is so good. They haven't lost a conference road game since October 4th, 2013. They're laying 4.5 on the road. I did play against them a couple of weeks ago with Mississippi State coming off that LSU game. And last week they got a bye week. They got to play Mercer. They didn't even have their main players start in the second half. This is absolutely Alabama's game to lose, and I think that they get it done, and they get it done in a big way. So I'm going to take the Tide minus 4.5.
It hurts, Kelly. But I will throw out a couple stats that I think you like. The winner of this game has played for the national championship every year but once since 2009. And also, what about the fact that Auburn has scored 40 plus points the last 4 games? When this Gus Malzahn offense gets going, it's kind of streaky. So when it's not going very well, they have trouble scoring. But when it's going well, it's tough to stop. Does that scare you back in the Tide?
As you know, I did play Auburn versus Georgia, and they absolutely smacked the Bulldogs. I am impressed with this Auburn team. I do like Gus Malzahn, but I think one thing that we don't take into account and what we haven't really seen is how good this Alabama's defense really is, and I think they step up in a big way for a big game. Again, I don't think anybody's really challenged them this year, and I think Auburn is going to be their biggest challenge, and I'm hoping this team steps it up and gets the big cover.
Yeah, it's a tough ask in Jordan Hare. It's going to be a tough atmosphere, but you're right. You bring up some good points. Nick Saban with extra time to prepare is not something I'm running to the window looking to bet against. But we do have one night game here. It's 8 o'clock Eastern time on ABC, 195, 196, the rotation number. Notre Dame at Stanford. Looks like Notre Dame's laying 2 on the road, 57 the total. How you looking to bet this night game, Kelly?
This line was a little interesting when it came out. I was like, Notre Dame -2. And now we've also seen it hit 2.5. But while this isn't the Cardinal team we've seen in the past, Stanford has won 6 of their last 8 versus the Irish and won their last 4 at home. Don't forget, Stanford can make the Pac-12 championship game if Washington, which is playing at the exact same time, beats Washington State as a 9-point favorite. So I'm thinking that even the Stanford Cardinal knows they're going to the Pac-12 championship game regardless. But more importantly, this is the play against Notre Dame for me. We've seen how well they performed in big games. They lost to Georgia at home. They got blown out by Miami on the road. And now they've dropped 3 straight against the number. Don't be surprised to see it happen again here. I know this isn't a Pac-12 game, but those Pac-12 after dark games have been really favoring the underdogs this season. And I'd really like to see Stanford show us something and show us the team that they have quietly been all season.
And Kelly, just to follow up on that, it looks like it's +2 pretty much across the board at SBR odds right now. Do you think we might see a 3? Should the watchers wait until maybe kickoff or right before kickoff time because Notre Dame is such a kind of public side, if you will?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say Notre Dame is a public team, and we did see that Miami game do the exact same thing. So you could wait. I don't think you're going to see a 1.5 on Stanford. So right now, like you said, it's pretty much 2 across the board. It will hit 2.5, but I don't know if it'll hit 3. I guess it just depends on how lopsided the books really are or how much Stanford money they really need.
All right, Kelly. So taking Stanford +2, Alabama -4 in the hook, and Ohio State -11.5, and that's at Heritage right now on the SBR odds screen. So Kelly, those are the 3 bets for today. Make sure to follow Kelly on Twitter at KellyInVegas. What are you hearing in Las Vegas? Any news the watchers need to know about over the past week going into rivalry weekend of college football?
Not a whole lot, but something to keep in mind that I was reading earlier. Don't forget about those teams on the outside looking in. A little bit of extra motivation to maybe make a bowl game this year. Tons of them actually have a whole list I wrote down for you, Drew, just to keep track. Teams like Duke, teams like Cal, Georgia Tech, Louisiana Tech, Minnesota, Temple, Texas Tech are all games that are going to kind of be on my radar. I got to spend a little bit more time on each one of those. But when there's a little bit of extra motivation for these teams to just get one more win, this could be the difference between staying home in December or going to someplace nice and warm and sunny.
Yeah, great point. It's a good handicapping angle. You bring up the Cal game. They're 5-6. I believe UCLA, who they're going against, is 5-6 as well. Do you work that into the handicap?
Usually I'm just going to cancel out probably both of those teams. You're absolutely correct. Like I said, I just started to make the list of who was 5-6 and had a shot. But you're right. When it comes to both of those teams playing each other, it might just be best to just cancel it out, even though I do think Cal +7.5 might be the right side.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that Cal team, they really got it going on, and they pushed Stanford to the limit, and they had the bye week the week before, so they're kind of getting healthier. And UCLA, they kind of seem like a train wreck. I know they came out pretty good against the Trojans, but that was a rivalry game. Before that, they were kind of a dumpster fire. So I agree with you on the Cal. What about some of the other rivalry games? I noticed Will Muschamp and company. I mean, we got South Carolina sitting at 8-3, catching 14 against Clemson, or the Egg Bowl. They're catching 14 as well. Ole Miss, I'm talking about. Any other rivalry games that have kind of caught your eye?
I looked at Old Miss and I initially had them circled in the Egg Bowl. Unfortunately, because they are bowl ineligible this year, I was wondering where the motivation really comes from. Definitely not laying the chalk on the other side, but that Mississippi State Old Miss game is really interesting to me. Also looking at Florida State, even though nobody thought that either team would be that bad this year, it's still a big rivalry game, and you have a Florida team catching 5.5. So chance to maybe redeem yourself and at least beat your rival this week is definitely something that some of these underdog teams are looking to do.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, great information here for rivalry. What are your plans for Thanksgiving? Are you spend it in Las Vegas?
Yep, I'm going to be here in Vegas. Have some proxy work we have to do due to the Thanksgiving Day games. Scored some free tickets to go to the K State ASU basketball game at the Orleans. So I'm pretty excited about that. Have a couple of beers, eat some turkey, and watch some basketball.
Absolutely. What's that atmosphere like at the Orleans watching college basketball? Have
You
you
know,
done
the
it
Orleans
before?
is kind of Yeah, actually, I have. K-State's played in this invitational several times, and then I've actually been to a couple of UNLV games there. It is a smaller arena, but it's actually pretty fun, and you'd be surprised how many people. Let's just say you're a married couple with no kids, and you don't feel like going back home for Thanksgiving to see your family. Come out, watch some good basketballs because it's a week or a few day long tournament, so you're seeing 3 or 4 games that day. It's pretty fun. It's a smaller place, but it gets loud and it gets exciting.
Yeah, cool. It's kind of like what a little appetizer for championship week with where they have like 3 or 4 or 5 conference tournaments in Las Vegas. Is it kind of like that time of year?
It is absolutely like that. Yeah, that's crazy, especially with the new T-Mobile Arena. There's going to be so many basketball games going on up here in a couple of months. Let's see. I think Pac-12 is always here. Mountain West is always here. So it should be rather interesting this spring to see some good basketball being played.
Yeah, for sure, Kelly. Well, great stuff. Don't want to take any more of your time. Make sure to give Kelly a follow on Twitter at Kelly in Vegas. If you need a proxy next year, can't recommend anybody better. But Kelly, yeah, thanks. Best of luck in rivalry weekend and enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.